It's cruise news time, and news continues to drop hot off the press. The big story today coming from Grand Cayman as they announce which lucky ships will visit the island from March the 21st through April the 17th. Yes, we know what ships will be visiting, even if your cruise line hasn't contacted you and told you that your ship is not one of them. We are in that situation for next month. Plus, Norwegian's CEO goes off a little bit. He's been friendly with the CDC for a long time. Now he goes off on the CDC. And then finally today, we have a ton of news from Royal Caribbean as they announce some key metrics that they've measured over the last several months, and they're sending another huge ship to Texas, an Oasis class ship. It's not the Allure of the Seas. We already know about that one. It's another one. We have the cruise news for you right now on Island Time. I know, I'm a little bit late today, but news continued to break throughout the day, and I was trying to wait for a stopping point, but news continued to fall off the press. A big happy Wednesday, March the 2nd to you. It may be March the 3rd before you watch this. That's okay. It's cruise news, and there's a ton of it. Welcome to Island Time. I am your host, Derek, and I'm thankful that you and I get to spend some time in the islands today. It's 80 degrees outside here in Arkansas, and we're enjoying every minute of that. Let's get to the cruise news. As Grand Cayman continues to make news today, and this affects us, we're cruising March the 19th on the Carnival Breeze. We're supposed to head to Grand Cayman, but we're not. And that's coming from Grand Cayman, not from Carnival. Let's get to this right here. Cruise ships have been given the go-ahead by the government there in Grand Cayman to resume cruising to Grand Cayman March the 21st. During phase one of this re-entry to cruising, a total of 21 ships will be visiting the island, and they have been approved already. Grand Cayman actually announced which ships will visit the island. You can see this list of ships right here. It's all going to start with the Disney Magic. That's right, the Disney Magic will be the first cruise ship to visit the island since March of 2020. The Magic will visit March the 21st, and of course, has a maximum passenger capacity of 2,700. You can see this list below. Every ship that will visit Grand Cayman from March the 21st through April 17th. We were supposed to visit Grand Cayman March the 23rd on the Carnival Vista, but we are not listed, and we have not yet heard from Carnival, 17 days away from this cruise, where we're going to go. Will there be a replacement? Will this be a sea day? We're supposed to go to Ocho Rios as well and Cozumel. I don't know. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of people, though, upset when I shared this in the cruise group for that selling. A lot of people want to go to Grand Cayman, including myself, and some people are upset if we indeed do not go there. But this is a list from the government. You can see they wanted to keep the total to 75,000 passengers, and it looks like they're going to be able to do so. Here is some thoughts here from Kenneth Bryan, the Minister for Tourism and Transport for the government of Grand Cayman. He said the reason we are releasing the information as soon as it becomes available is to provide our industry partners and stakeholders with as much time as possible to plan for the return of cruise passengers and prepare their operations accordingly. Now that cruise lines have this official list of which ships will be allowed to visit Grand Cayman, you can suspect that there will be itineraries such as mine. The March 19th itinerary on the Carnival Vista will be adjusted. So if you're cruising and you expected to go to Grand Cayman and you're not on the list in late March and early April, be ready. You're going somewhere else. Second story today comes from Norwegian, and Norwegian's Frank Del Rio, the CEO of Norwegian, had some interesting words to say about the CDC. And what's interesting is throughout the cruise restart process, Frank Del Rio has been, of course, very positive about the CDC. Norwegian has been had some of the most restrictive protocols and policies in order to cruise. But he had some interesting things to say on a recent earnings call with investors. His big quote that's sticking out all over the internet is, "I don't need the CDC to tell me how to run a safe cruise line." And I would say that he's exactly right, because the protocols and practices that they've put in place since the cruise restart has allowed them to continue to sell and to sell safely. Del Rio admitted that he's been very vocal throughout the pandemic as to the disappointment that we've all suffered at the hands of the CDC. They didn't shut any other industry down for nearly 18 months besides us, and the CDC continues to have policies toward us that are not seen anywhere else in the industry, but we are making progress with them. He even spoke out about the voluntary program that NCL was so vocal of opting into even before they knew what the program was going to be. Del Rio admitted it was not an easy decision to opt in, and that's surprising because they were so eager to opt in even before they knew what it was. But after the details were released, even Del Rio said it was difficult to make that decision to opt in. He does see a brighter future with the CDC. He thinks the CDC is really trying to work with the cruise industry now. Instead of a top-down approach, they're valuing the input from each cruise line. His last 2 points are actually his strongest points. He pointed out that Norwegian's brands have always exceeded whatever the CDC guidelines are. "I don't need the CDC to tell me how to operate a safe cruise line. Our protocols have always exceeded theirs and continue to do so. At the end of the day, we need to build customer confidence, and I think we're doing that." Lastly, he says the pandemic is waning in several areas. Vaccinations are up. The severity of cases are down. We as a society are learning to live with this. And I think the CDC is mindful of that and wants to get away from being seen as acting discriminatory toward the cruise industry and being behind the times. So I think that in the very near future, we're going to see a much more friendly environment toward the cruise industry from the CDC. Again, harsh words from someone who's usually a little bit more reserved in his thoughts toward the CDC. Surprising to see, but that just shows that this industry is ready to regulate itself and the industry is ready to move forward. I told you guys, 86% capacity on a cruise I just got off of 2 days ago, the Carnival Breeze. We're headed to more normal times, and this next story shows that. Royal Caribbean shared that since the cruise restart, over 1 million guests have sailed with Royal Caribbean Group. The company brought more than 28,000 crew members back. They've sailed over 1 million passengers. It all started on the Freedom of the Seas, which is fitting, right? The Freedom of the Seas was the first ship for Royal Caribbean to leave out on July the 2nd. Out of the 1 million guests that have sailed with Royal Caribbean, this was a surprising statistic they shared. 502,411 guests, over half of the guests, have spent 1 or 2 days at Perfect Day at Coco Cay. This was done during one of 257 stops to the private island. That is so impressive. Of course, the reviews for Perfect Day are unbelievable. Guests love it. And Royal Caribbean also had news late yesterday. Get this, an Oasis class ship, the third ship in the class, is headed to Galveston, Texas. The Harmony of the Seas will move from Florida to Texas in November of 2023. The Harmony of the Seas will move from Miami and will begin sailing in Galveston on November the 1st of 2023. That will be a 4-night cruise. She will then have 7-night cruises through April of 2024. She has a gross tonnage of 226,963 gross tons. She is larger than her older sisters, the Oasis of the Seas and the Allure of the Seas. Of course, the Allure is also going to Texas. There's so many ships headed to Galveston in the next 24 months, from the Allure of the Seas to now the Harmony of the Seas for Royal Caribbean. The Norwegian Prima is going to have a stint and test the market, test the waters. We've heard Roger Rees there, the port commissioner in Galveston, say Norwegian's testing to see, can they put a full-time ship there? So you have the newest ship, the Norwegian Prima. Carnival has the Carnival Vista there currently. The Carnival Jubilee, Carnival's flagship, will be there in 2023. My question to you is, which one of these ships would you try if you had the opportunity to do so? Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but if you could try Royal Caribbean's Harmony or Allure, the Norwegian Prima, or their Carnival Jubilee, which one are you going to try? Which one are you excited about coming to Galveston? You can share your answers in the section below. If you enjoyed the content today, please give us a thumbs up so that other viewers can see this video just as you have. If you have questions about anything, be sure to write in our comment section below. Find us on our Facebook page, join it. It's a great community. And we'll be right back here tomorrow with more cruise news. We'll talk to you then right here on Island Time.